Okay, this video is all about how you look at German stamps. You know, they all have a story. Some we know, some we don't know. But it's all on how you look at it. And of course it depends on the market, how many are available out on the market as far as what their worth is going to be. So let's take a look at some of these here. And we have this one here. That's 12. Look at the designs in this one. I mean, all the fanciness and everything just to put three pennants. This one here has 200, but then has 30 on top of it. Isn't that different? Very different. My cat's not happy that I put him out of the room, but he likes stamps. So I can't show him if he's all over them. Alright, this is 12. This one's got a bird on top. Look at this one. Look at the details in this. Oh, I got it upside down too. Here, how about if we show it right? Show it the way it should be. There you go. Now look at that. Isn't that beautiful? All the curves and all the fanciness in designing this stamp. Beautiful. Okay. Now off to the next one. There we go. Now this guy here, this German stamp, comes in many different colors and everything according to the value. So this guy was really, really popular. And now look at this guy. Doesn't seem like he's a happy camper, huh? So what's the story behind that one? Just didn't like being posed for a picture, for printing or what? We never know. But they all have a story. Look at this guy. Now this one here, he also comes in many different colors according to the value and stuff. This one's a 40. You'll see some others. This one here is 4 with the Hitler sign on it. So I don't know how many of these are in circulation, but you can look at this one in many ways. Okay, and look at this one. This one you'll also see in many different colors and stuff. And we move down to this one here. See how I told you he comes in different colors. This one's a 5. Just depends on the value. Must have been very important. Now look at this one. This one is just a number. Just a number 5. But look at the fanciness and the design. That's what makes these valuable. They make a very good investment for the future, especially for the young people of today, because, you know, we're into the internet. Stamps are a thing of the past, but these stamps, you know, were not just a picture. There's a lot of work that went into designing these stamps. They're very, very pretty. A lot of details, attention to details, getting it centered on the stamps, everything. Look at this one. Very nice. Gathering wheat. 16 PF. There has to be a story in order for them to be on a stamp. So always think of that when you're viewing stamps, whether they're from Germany or any other country. There's a story behind it. This one must be for the hard workers. This one's of a building. So there's some historical significance to this building. This one has just a 5 written on it. But look at the design that surrounds the 5. Check out each one of the corners. That's how you view. You view by looking at details. All the little details. It's not just a stamp. It's the detail of the stamp and the history of the stamp. What's behind it? Look at this one. This guy here, 16. Virchow. Quite the man. Now look at this one. Planting a small seedling. There's a reason for that. Everything has a reason behind it. Always remember that. Look at the details in the frame around his picture. Okay, and here's this man. It comes in different colors according to value. Just as this guy does. He's in green this time with a 5. Very important people. Okay, so how you look at vintage stamps and everything, very important. So I hope you've enjoyed my bringing these to you. Very nice vintage stamps. Going to be a very good collectible group of stamps and stuff. Maybe won't hit the best value in my lifetime, but I'm sure that my granddaughter, Kara and Kenna, will enjoy having them in theirs, because they're just beginning their life. So by the time they reach half my age, they should have some very good value for them. Alright, be sure to sub me, join me as a friend. If you know of any stamp collectors who really want to look at some unique German stamps, be sure to pass this video on to them. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Okay, here we have some very unique stamps here to show you. So I want you to turn around and pay special attention to a lot of the details in this, because this is how you kind of view some very unique looking stamps. You know, it makes you wonder what the story behind some of these are. Okay, there's a stamp right there from Cuba. Half cent, Victoria. Look at that. Just a nice V for Victoria. Look at that one there. 50-cent stamp. Very nice. Look how unique this one is. Madagascar. 1-cent stamp. Very unique. Look at that. Look at all the detail that goes into making this stamp to be able to print it out. You know, stamps are becoming quite a collectible item, you know. A lot of people who are younger are saving some of these old vintage stamps for their future. You know, the money market's up, down, and, you know, some just don't feel safe with their money being in banks or anything else. Look at this one. Look at the details in there. at that one. Beautiful dove. Look at this one. This is very unique. This is from Bermuda. 1.5D postage stamp. Look at the details in that. You know, with the ship and everything. To be able to get all the sales and everything. A lot of time into making this stamp. And that's what's making them collectible, because these are not the stamps you see now. Now it's like take a picture. But back then, you know, they hand done all this. So that's what makes them even more unique. Look at this one, plowing in the fields. Very nice. Good artist to be able to do that back then. These are very unique. Look at this. I found this one to be just amazing. Look at that. Beautiful stamp. Stars in each corner. Centano. Look at this one. That is very unique. This is South Africa. Beautiful stamp. It's a 1D. Very unique looking stamp. Okay, and then here we have some 50 cents. Exposition. Colony. These are very, very different. I found these to be very different. So, you know, it's all about how you look at them. How you look at for some very nice, unique stamps. Okay, look at this one. Mountain in the creek. But look at the pillars. You know, you had to draw all this. Very nice. Look at the design and the details in this. Look at that. Found this one to be interesting. I don't know nothing about it. So if you know something about some of these old vintage stamps, be sure to leave a comment and share it with everyone else. It's always nice to share, and it's nice to learn. Look at the details in this one. 15. Francis. Republic, Francis. Look at that. Beautifully designed. Love it. Then we go down to this one here. Very unique stamps. It's all about the details and the design in making them. Having all the sides perfect, the corners perfect, trying to center the stamps. That's all things you look for when you look at the value of a stamp. Look at this one. This one's from Cuba. 3-cent stamp from Cuba. Okay, this is postage revenue. 1/2 A. Southern Rhodesia. Can you imagine to be able to draw the uniform and everything? It's not just take a picture. You know, that's the easy way they do things today, but that's not how things used to be. Okay. Look at this one, unique in its own way. Isn't that lovely? Oh, look at this one. 6 cents. Kalen. It's a very nice vintage stamp. Very good. All right. So if you know anything about some of these stamps, be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more vintage stamps. If you know of any stamp collectors, be sure to send this video to them so they can have a look at some good old vintage postage stamps. Very unique to view. It's just a pastime sometimes just to view these videos, to look at some of these stamps that you never imagined even existed. Alright, be sure to sub me. Bye-bye now. Today we have some Post Italian stamps, vintage postage stamps to show you. If you're looking to collect, hopefully this video will give you some ideas. Because some of the things you look for is to make sure that your stamps are centered. Unused is always more valuable. You know, but it is hard to find unused ones, I'll tell you that. Also, you want to check the gluing in the bag. That helps you to give you the age of the stamp. And of course, if you find some that are upside down, like the upside down Jenny plane, I mean, now you're talking millions, you know. So there are a lot of them that are very valuable. And of course, they go up in value all the time, you know, because of technology, and people don't run to the post office so much. They just turn the computer on. So, you know, that's what makes these more valuable. So let's start by going through some of these. Okay, here we have one right here. There's a 2D. Doesn't seem like he was the happiest one to be photoed, but remember that every person that's on these stamps, they're all famous in their own ways, otherwise they would have never made it on the stamp. Okay, and this is 1 lira una stamp. That in itself gives you an idea of the time frame of when this stamp was made, because they changed what they were called after that. There is a 5. And this guy, he comes in different colors and stuff. These are 1.75. Liru. If you notice, here he is in brown. Do come in different colors. Okay, and here we have a 50 cent. This one here. It's in the corner, I can't see. But you can see how this one is not centered. Look at your rivage edges and stuff, and then look to see if it's centered, because that makes a difference when you're collecting for the value. Here we have another one right here. Very nice. This one, 1.25. Leary. Look at the design of this. I mean, look at, you know, you have his picture, and then look at the framing around his picture. You know, the details. It has a lot of details in it. So a lot of work went into designing this one. That's what makes it really unique, is all the extras that went in besides just put a picture. Okay, then we have this one. Oops. And we go down to this one here. 25. Then look at this one. This one's really different, almost like it should be a Red Cross one. Has a 2 and kind of like a cross in the middle. A very different stamp. This one here, I don't know. Very different. It's a 15 Lire, L-I-R-E. And to put a picture of someone on a stamp with a hairdo like that, I don't know. I hope this was approved. I would think that they care more about their appearance than that. But maybe this was his normal. So if you know anything about this stamp, go ahead and leave a comment. It's definitely different. The fact that it's purple is different in the first place. You know, for a picture of a man. But very different. I look forward to hearing some of the comments on this one. Alrighty. And then this one here. Alright. So, if you know anything about these stamps, be sure to leave a comment. And if you're looking to collect, I mean, this is a really good hobby to pick up, especially if you're young, because by the time you reach retirement age, it'll be worth really good. We got a lot of technology that stamps are not being used like they used to. So these go up in price every year. So stay tuned for more, and I'll show you some more. You can go on my Pinterest. I have a postage stamp board, and you can see all those from all 3 of my video sites to see all the stamps that I've put up. It's on the Doris, View With Me, Magyar. Alright, bye-bye. Okay, this video is on how to view some of the unknown stamps that you have in your collection and stuff. So let's take a close look at some of these. First of all, there we go with this one here. Have no idea what it is, but it's nice to see Israel on there, but you don't know too much about it. But a way to view some of these stamps, here we go, is to look at the pictures and know that every picture shows you a history. Look at that. 10 Hiller. Look at this one. Isn't this unique? Can you imagine the history that's behind this picture and this postage stamp? Look at that. It almost looks like he's got a feather in his hat. He's holding a sword, which kind of looks like a ball on top. The writing is definitely unique, but I'm sure that this is a very important stamp. So viewing them can give you a lot of history. And look at this one. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, then we come down to the second row right here. Look at that. The water just splashing up at the building. It's 25. So just think, you know, in order to make this stamp, what's the history behind it? Look at this one. 1813 to 1913. This one we know. This is the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. And this is a picture of her as a child in 1937. Cat's not happy with me for closing him out of the room so I can do my video. This says 5 I would believe it'd be like $5. But of course this is unknown to me because of the writing. I can't read it. But I'm sure it has a special saying on it. Oh, look at these. These are kind of neat. 2.5 cents. Let's go to the next row here. 15. This one looks like it's really been through a lot. You know, so if you know stamp collectors and stuff, pass this video on to them. This one's 10 CT. I'm sure that means cent. Look at the beauty in that. For posing for the stamp. You know there's some good history there. Look at this one. Isn't this beautiful? Love it. Look at the details in the corners, especially the upper right hand corners. Okay, there's another one. It's like 90, I don't know. But they all have a history. This is a 10 cents. This is Independent Hall, United States Postage. Now down to the next one. All the way here. Now look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Some history there. And this is how you kind of look at some of the unknown. Try to get whatever details you can off the stamp and check it online. But vintage postage stamps are becoming very popular for investment in the future, especially with all the internet and stuff going on. But stamps were made really different. There's a lot of details, you know, and all the leaves and all that, how they had to be. Look at that. This one almost reminds you like it's a Red Cross type stamp. Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Good story behind that, huh? Alright. So if you've enjoyed viewing some of these stamps, be sure to share them with others. And this is the way that a lot of people are starting to take care of their investments for the future, especially the younger generation. You know, in their 20s and 30s, they're deciding what's the best way to go to invest in their money for the future and stuff. And they're starting with stamp collection because some of them are very, very valuable. And as time goes, they only become more valuable. This is one of those things that increase in value. Alright, so if you know any stories behind some of these, be sure to leave them as a comment, and I'll bring you some more. Bye-bye now. Okay, today we have some very unique and different looking old vintage postal stamps. And they're from Magyar, M-A-G-Y-A-R. And they're very unique, very pretty, nice designs and everything. And these are all old vintage stamps. So it's always good to look at them. And of course, collecting stamps is starting to be quite an investment. There are people who are buying old vintage postage stamps as a retirement income. So they buy now when they're younger, and by the time they retire, they shall be worth a lot because of the internet and computers and everything and all the big technology. Going to the post office is becoming a thing of the past. So it's not as used as it used to be. So collecting some of history, because every postage stamp has story behind it, a reason why it became a stamp. So some of these are really nice to collect, and maybe attach the story behind it to the stamp, makes it more valuable. So let's look at some of these. And this is from Magyar. Okay, so we shall start with this one right here. This is 10F. Look at the expression on his face. You know, and when you look at stamps to buy and everything, you look to see if they're centered. If you notice, this one's not perfectly centered. A lot of it depends on the cutting of the stamp. See if they're centered. Of course, they're more valuable if the picture's going one way and the writing's upside down, because that was a mistake that didn't get caught and some got out in circulation. It's all about the demand, what there is available out there as far as the value. But each year, the stamps, old stamps like this, go up in value. So if you start collecting while you're young, or Grandma and Grandpa collected for you, those stamps will be worth something in your lifetime. This is a 10F. Look at that. Look at the design in that. It's like the people up there. Look at the details. I mean, the pictures are very, very unique. Look at this guy. He meant business, didn't he? The days where they done their mustache like that. Look at this. Wow. That is just so beautiful. By the water with the reflection in the water and everything. Beautiful castle. That's a 2. Magyar Postal. Corona. Look at the details in that. I mean, in all the framing around the picture. Look at the details. Isn't that beautiful? Very nice. Okay, look at this one here. A lot of details to these. Whoops. Now this one here, a bus. A bus made it on the postage stamp. So there must be a real history on that in order for that to happen. It's a 20F. Look at this one. $10 It's a lot of details in these stamps. Look at this one. Very religious stamp. 20F. Very nice stamp. Oh, look at this one. Beautiful color. 8F. Nice kind of purple looking. There's another religious one here. 30F. With the cross and everything. Looking down at the crown. Just think of every stamp has a history. Oops. This guy's just in a different color. We already had him at the beginning. All in different colors. Look at this one. Very different stamp. 16 filler. Just a different view, I think, of that castle from before. Nice purple. See how this one's nicely centered. But it is a used one. Those are all things that matter in the value of a stamp. Also, you'll want to check the back to see what kind of gluing was used, because that tells you about the time period. Here's an 8 filler. Look at this one. Isn't this neat? Look at that. Look at the details in this. You look at that and you want to know the story behind this. So beautiful. Okay, there's a 6 filler. And these down here are all about a building. So I don't know what that building is. If any of you know. I mean, this one's perfectly centered, but it is a used one. But if you know the history behind this building, go ahead and leave a comment and share with me and share with everybody else who's going to be viewing this video. It's always nice to share. The kindness of sharing can go a long ways. There's a 20F, and that's another picture of that building. Look at the car in it. So that kind of gives you an idea of the year of the stamp. The old vintage car in that picture. Look at this one. Look at the vintage, kind of like a van. Split windshield in front. Look at that. So that gives you an idea. When you look at the vehicles and look beyond just the building, look how the people are dressed in the vehicles. It gives you a time span. This here, I don't even know what this is, some kind of a tanker. But it means a lot to them to have been on a stamp. Alright. So, if you know the value of some of these, or know any history of it, go ahead and share with the rest of us. We'd really appreciate that. And stay tuned for more, and we'll bring you some more. Be sure to sub me. We got plenty of vintage stamp. And remember, this is a good collection for retirement. A lot of people are investing in the old stamps, starting to collect it while they're young. So in their retirement age, they have something. Alright. Bye-bye now. Okay, here we have some more German stamps here. Some nice vintage stamps. Stamp collecting is starting to be a really good hobby to pick up. The value of old stamps now, because we have the internet and computer, is really getting good. So a few things that you may want to pay attention to when you're checking out vintage stamps is to see if the stamp is used, first of all, if it's centered. Check the backing of it to see what kind of gluing, because that will indicate the year or the area of years. And also to check and see if, like, the picture is going one way and the writing is upside down, because those with errors and everything, before they caught them, some did get out in circulation. So those are really valuable. So these are some German stamps. They have numbers on them, but they have pretty pictures too. So the picture themselves gives us a little bit of history. So collecting old stamps is about the history of the stamps. Okay, so here we have a line of them right here. 10s and 1s. Okay, and now let's look at some of these. Now this guy here, he comes in all kinds of colors. 40, and this is one color. Then number 10, he's in orange. Then 60, kind of an olive. 5 is kind of green. 20 is blue. And 3 is brown. He's in all kinds of colors. Alright. So now let's look at some of the other ones we have here. This one's got an 8 on it. It's always nice to look at them. I mean, look at this. How unique is that? Definitely, you know, a different face on there, a unique person. There's some history behind this in order for them to be on a stamp in the first place. But this person is important in the history of Germany. So it's nice to look at it, collect them, and investigate. Look at this guy. What a hairdo, huh? Or is that something special he's wearing on his head? Not totally sure here. So if you know, go ahead and leave a comment. Be interesting, because he's definitely a unique looking fella. Okay, look at this one. Looks like quite the thinker. And this one here, 30R or 30M, working. As this one, 150, working. Okay, and then we have the eagle. This one here, you find quite a few of those. Thing to look is to look and see if it's centered. Unused and centered. Unless it's a default one. Look at this, isn't this interesting? So it's nice to see the unique ones, 1 1/4 mark. Then to check out, find out the history behind it. Look at this guy. You know, it's nice to look at them and see all the detail in the stamp that was created in order to make the stamp in the first place. There's a 3. Oops, I had that one upside down. There we go. Can't really view it if it's upside down, now can you? This one's kind of different because some of them that I've seen like this do not have this extra writing on top here. Or whatever this is, white whatever. It's like it says 5 and then something else. So I've seen them like this, but not with that extra on there. So if you know why that's on there, does it make it different? Is it just, I don't know, maybe it's just the sticky or got stuck to another one, I'm not sure. Could be. Alright. We have this one. And this guy here, he comes in different colors according to his numbers. See? He's a 5 there, he's a 12 here, and a 15 here. So he comes in different colors according to his numbers. This guy's a little unique too. Okay. So, if you know anything about some of these stamps, know the value of them, know a little bit of history about them, be sure to just leave a comment and share. It's always nice to share. We appreciate sharing. Alright. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll bring you some more. Bye-bye now. Okay, today we're going to show you some different vintage stamps. This is a good collectible group of stamps and stuff. A lot of people are starting to collect stamps as an investment for their future, you know, when they reach retirement, just for extra income, and some are just using it in their retirement as a hobby. So let's take you through some of these stamps and give you an idea of what to look for. These are vintage stamps of Republique Française. Okay, and let's start with this first one right here. There's a 50C. Then we have the 90. And look at this one. Really nice. 2FR. But look at all the beautiful landscape and everything in this one. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. Okay, now this one here, this is 2 different stamps. Look how unique they are. One's a 1F. Very nice, isn't it? Look at that. And the other one is a 30. Very nice stamps. Okay, then we have a 75C. Now one thing you look for when you're collecting stamps is to make sure that they're perfectly centered, because those that are valuable are nicely centered, unused, except for some that may be errors. You know, they were misprints, maybe the picture's upside down from the wording and stuff, and some of those got out in circulation, so those can be worth a lot. In the millions, if you want to know. Okay, and then we have this one here. It's a 10. This one's actually a German one. This one's a 1. Oh, and look at this one. This is just beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What beautiful, beautiful looking ones. I love these. They look so cute. It's like a bad hair day or whatever. They're cute. Very special stamps. Very nice. That was a good find. It's an RF. And then it's 0.50. Couple of nice little birds by the ocean. Cute. Okay, and then we have this one here. That's a 25F. Can you imagine the architect building this? Look at that. Wow. Go from one building to the next like that. Very nice. Okay, then we have a 65 here. Here we have a 5. Another thing to look for with the stamps and everything is the gluing in the back. This is a 10. Because the gluing will also give you an idea of the time when they were made. See, this one's definitely not centered, as you can see. You know, the rivage on the edge and everything did not give some space. You know, not like the other side right there. So you can tell that one's not centered, and of course it's used. But these are all very nice old vintage postage stamps. Here's a 1F50. Look at this one. This one's a nice one. Very pretty. That's a 30. Very nice. Oh, look at this one. This one's like angels with wings all over. The 5 is in the center. Look at that. What a beautiful one. Okay, and then we have this one here. In some of the places and stuff, they used to poke the holes through the stamps to show that they were used. And this is actually Italians. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed my bringing these to you. Very unique looking kind of stamps. Very special in their own ways. Be sure to sub me and we'll bring you some more. If you're looking to start a good stamp collection, do your investigation first as to what to look for before you start. And good luck, because with technology and everything, stamps are going up in value every year. So, happy hunting. Bye-bye now. Okay, here we have a collection of odds and ends from different countries of vintage postage stamps. Now, for those of you who are collecting, you know the value of some of these. You can always share. And collecting vintage postage stamps is getting to be a really good investment. People are investing in the future for their retirement and everything, especially when they're young. And the vintage postage stamps, because of technology and everything, they're becoming more and more valuable every year. So this is a good idea to start your own collection and investing in your future for your retirement age. So some of the things to look for, of course, is whether they've been used or not. That takes care of some of the value. Whether they're properly centered on the stamp. And of course the market plays a big part, because we have some stamps that were misprint. The picture is one way and the writing's upside down, or there's some little form of misprint and they get out in circulation before they pulled them all in. So those, of course, are the ones that are more valuable, you know, like the upside down Jenny plane, you know, that's worth millions and stuff. So every year there's a new variety of stamps that really take a big step in value. So if you start collecting, you know, when you're in your 20s and 30s, by the time you reach retirement and you've done well on collecting old vintage stamps and everything, you will do well. So it's all about knowing what you're looking for. The gluing in the back, of course, makes a big difference. So let's take a look at some of these. Okay, we got some there. Look at that. Beautiful. It's always nice to look at them, look at the pictures. And then, you know, you can always check out online to see what the story behind it is. I mean, you know, this one's an old one. $45H. Cheskolovinsko. Firefighters. So this is a good firefighter stamp and everything. So people collect them for all different reasons. So I can see a firefighter collecting this one here, checking out the history behind it. You know, because knowing the history behind a stamp is also important, because that gives you the time frame of some of these. There's one here, 50. Turkey. Just spelt a different way. There's this one here, 100. And we go down here, we got a couple of birds here. Look at them. Cute, ain't they? Like they got their head in a frizzy. Now look at this one. Jamaica stamp. Look at that. Exhibition of 1801. 1/2 D. Now look at this stamp. This is really, really a good one. Look at the details and the building and everything. Very good stamp. Look at this one. 1842 to 1942. Not quite as old as the Jamaican one, but it's still a very collectible one. And of course, by the time, you know, if you start collecting younger than your golden years, this be worth something. This one here is really different. Have no idea where it's from. So if you know, by all means, go ahead and leave a comment. Inform me and inform the rest of the people who are viewing this video as to what this one really, where it comes from. Oops. Next row here. Look at all the details and the leaves and everything. The designing of these are really, really pretty. It's one of those Magyar postage stamps. Look at this one. The crown on top and all the little frizzies there with the leaves and everything else. A lot goes into designing of a stamp, but in order to be a stamp, it had to be important. Alright, look at this one. Just think of the history behind this. What does it really represent? It's a Peru stamp, number 2. Very interesting looking stamp. Okay, you can see it's well centered, so that's valuable, but it is used. And always check behind to see the gluing. Gluing makes a difference and gives you a good time frame for when things are valuable. There's a 15 cents exposition stamp. This one's a black and white. 1931. Look at this one. This is different. Very different stamp. Look at the design of that. Very unique looking. Okay, then we go down to the bottom. We've seen this guy here. He just happens to come in different colors, different numbers, different colors. This one's Romania. 10 Li. Simple and unique in its own way. So there's always a history behind this. So sometimes when you look at a stamp, check out the history. The history can make a big difference in the value of the stamp too. There's this guy here. This is a 5. No idea what country this one comes from. So if you know, please leave a comment. And this one's 50 PF. Nicely centered stamp. But of course it's used. If you can get them unused, you're rolling better. Whoops. Alright, and there's a number 3. See all the details in that. Okay. So, if you know the value of some of these stamps, go ahead, leave a comment. You know some history about it. Be sure to share it. It's always nice to share. Alright, and we'll bring you some more, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now. Okay, here we have a few of the postage revenue stamps to show you. I only have a few in this group, but they're all worth viewing. Okay, for those of you who want to start a collection, there's a few things to look for. First of all, you know, they've got a little piece of the corner missing. They're really not going to be of value and stuff. You're going to want them to make sure that they are centered. You know, good condition, unused is always better. Okay, here's this one here. Very pretty. And we have this one. One-half D. And this one here, the 1 penny. Look at the extra design around his picture. All about details and stuff too. You know, you'll find some that if they have error and stuff, they were misprints that ended up getting out in circulation. Of course, those are very valuable. I mean, they can run in the millions of dollars here. So, there's a 1D postage revenue stamp. This one here is very nice. I like it. It's too bad there's a little corner missing because it's postage revenue, but it's 1.5 D. But it says May 12th, 1937. So I do believe that this would have been a really super special one. So if you find any of these in mint condition, it's a good find. Other than that, it was pretty much a centered stamp, which is important. Rather nice one. Royal. Okay, and then we have this one here, which is a 1. And one right here. Half penny. And look how the post office really stamped that one, huh? Wanted to make sure you knew it was used. This is a 1/2 D. Beautiful lady with her crown. This is a 1 penny. This is one of those that's 1/2. That is the Anna one. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed looking at these stamps. It's always nice to just go through them all and just look at them, see what's out there, get an idea, but it's even better to start a collection, especially if you're young, because by the time you reach retirement and stuff, they'll be worth a lot. Okay, with all the technology and stuff, people don't use stamps as often, so the old vintage ones go up in price every year. Alright, hope you've enjoyed it. I'll bring you some more. Bye-bye now. Okay, today we're showing you some revenue postage stamps. And this was really nice to find in between all of them. It says Postal Union, Congress, London, 1929. What a beautiful stamp. And look at that. Nicely centered and everything. It's got the crown on top. It's 1.5. And they call it 3 halfpence. That's how they say things like that, for 1.5. 3 halfpence. What a beautiful stamp, huh? Alright, so let me show you all of them here that we have. First we have these here. These are halfpenny. It's funny, they say 3 pence, and then when it's just a half, it's a halfpenny. Postal revenue stamp. There's 2 of them hooked together. And we have this one here, that's 3 halfpence. I love the crowns and how they design the whole bottom. Look at the beautiful design of the bottom right there. That's so pretty and stuff. People are starting to collect stamps an awful lot and stuff as an investment for retirement, especially if you're young, because with all the technology and stuff, stamp collecting is starting to be a good investment. It goes up in price every year. That's what technology has done to the stamps. Of course, the postal industry is not very happy with it because it took a lot of their business away, but that's what makes these more valuable to have and to hold. Okay, this is a 1 penny and a 1/2 D. It's so beautiful. Very nice. Look at that 1 penny. It's very nicely centered. Those are some of the things you look for to make sure it's nicely centered. You want to check the gluing behind them if they're not attached to something. There's a 3 pence. It says 3 pence and put 3 on it. Oops, come right here. 2 pence, halfpenny. Instead of saying 2 1/2, it's 2 pence and a 1/2 penny. Different way of saying it. This is India postage revenue. Still another revenue stamp. It says 1/2 A, then it says 1/2 Anna. Very unique. This I found very interesting. Silver Jubilee. 1910 to 1935. Postage revenue. 3 halfpence, which is 1 1/2. Very different stamp. Look at that. One side has the crown, the other side has the round, I guess, for prints. Okay, and then this one here that I showed you at the very beginning, I think this was a beautiful find. Very nicely designed stamp. Nicely centered, good edges going around all of it. It is used. That's a very nice stamp. There's a lot of history, you know, when you see stuff like this. Okay, this one's completely different and you want to know the history. Well, with the World Wide Web, you can do all that now. Okay, 3 halfpence. And this one here. This one's a lady. 1 penny. Postage something revenue. So this one's kind of different. Okay, 2 pence, halfpenny. Look at this one. This one's really nice. Design completely different. 11 pence. Postage revenue. And this is a 3D revenue stamp. Oh, I can see with the camera that this one's upside down. There we go. Looks a little bit better there, huh? Okay, very heavily postaged. The post office really stamped it good. Fresh ink. Okay, this one's a 1 shilling. Not quite sure why this ended up in this batch. Okay. Halfpenny. Beautiful. And there's a 1 penny. And 9 pence. I'm sure you can hear all that wind just howling and all that stuff. I mean, look at that. Now this tree here, we're going to recycle that Christmas tree. We got pine cones. We've dried them in the oven. We're going to put peanut butter and bird seeds on it. And we're going to put it up there to feed the birds, especially when you have stormy weather like this. I'm sure we'll be feeding some of the squirrels too. They might be fighting for it. But we put wire on the pine cone so we can hold it so that the squirrels don't just haul it away, because they like to take it and put it in their own little den. But we want to feed the birds. See how the wind, you can really see the wind just flying. I don't know if you can hear it, but boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is what you call a Maine blizzard. Anyhow, to come back to here. So I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of talk about the vintage stamps. Hope you've enjoyed my bringing them to you. If you know of any big stamp collectors, or you're looking to start a stamp collection and stuff, you know, take a good look at these. And always share the videos with others who are interested in starting an investment into their future. Because these stamps, you know, with technology and everything, will be worth a lot in the future. So now's the time to get it. Be less expensive to get it now. Okay. Bye-bye now. Okay, here we have some Republique Française postage stamps. They're all of a beautiful lady. Going ta-da! Different colors and different values. So I had so many of them, and they're all different colors, that I wanted to show you some of these. All the different ones and stuff. And then I'll show you what a Maine blizzard looks like. Okay, so here we have, this one's kind of brownish, 25 cents. Look at that, beautiful. So one of the things you look for when you're looking to start a stamp collection is you look to see if the stamp is centered. You know, make sure the ruffles are all around the edge, going all the way around, and make sure you didn't get the corner of a page. That helps with the value. Also, if it's not used, that helps with the value. And be sure to check the gluing in the back and stuff, because that makes a difference too. You know, also the ones that are worth the most and stuff in the marketplace and stuff are those that the picture may go one way and the writing's the opposite way. You know, some that may have a default in them. You know, an imperfection that ended up getting out in circulation that shouldn't. And they called them all back right away, but a few got out. There are a few of those. Those are very valuable. I mean, take like the upside down Jenny plane. I mean, that one's worth millions and stuff. Here's a 10. And if you notice, wherever this one was, the postage has all these little dots in them and stuff. So, you know, that tells a story in itself too. Isn't that beautiful? So there's all kinds of ways of looking at the stamp. I mean, look at this one. It's not centered whatsoever. So this will not be considered a good one. Some of these, look at that. Some of them depend on the ink. And then if you look real closely, you'll see some lines that go across. You know, and all the tiny little specks or whatever that's on it. This all makes a difference on the value and stuff. So do a little bit of investigating on the computer and stuff as to what makes stamps more valuable before you start a collection. You know, it's always good to know what you're looking for. Okay, and there's a 25. I'm going to go down right here. There's a 50. See how, you know, if you look real close, you see the lines going across? It's all in the details. You know, the different die that was used, the different pattern, even though the pictures all look the same. There are some very identifying marks that makes one more valuable than the other, even though with the naked eye it just looks all the same. So that's something to read up on and learn about. See, like this one just looks like all plain background, but then if you look at this one here, you see lines going across in the printing. So there's a difference for this. Okay, that's a 10. There's a 15. See, the lines in that one's not as noticeable as the lines in this one. Look at this. Look at the pattern behind this one. Those are the things you look at. There's a 75. You see how you can see the lines going across? The die's line and right up in the middle. Those are things to look for. There's 25. See, you don't see no lines on that one at all. Okay, then you got a couple 25s that are brown. See, you don't see no lines at all. So there's a difference. And that makes a difference in the value too. There's purple. A 20. There's a 15. See, again, you can see lines in that. So they're all very different. So stamp collecting is getting to be a really nice hobby. And, you know, if you start when you're young, or if Grandma and Grandpa are starting it as a hobby for the grandkids, you know, make sure you talk to them. Let them know how valuable it will be when they become, you know, older adults. Now, you want to see, this is what a Maine blizzard looks like. You see where the trees are? You can't even see the mountain, believe it or not. If you've watched some of my other videos, there's a whole big mountain out there. And you could barely see the trees that are in front here. Kind of see how that's coming down. We've had some really, really bad winds. But this is what a Maine blizzard looks like. You can see it better when I put it up against the tree like that. That way you can see the speed of the snow when it's coming down. We're expected to get 2 feet and stuff. So some of you have been following my beehive videos from my View With Me 2 channel and stuff. I bet this time that beehive will find itself buried. Look at that. You can't even see the fields out back. I mean the trees out back. You can barely see images of them. Look at that. See a little bit of these ones. Look at that. Oh, okay. If I put it right there, you can kind of see how that's coming down. That's what you call a good old Maine blizzard. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed my adding this to the end of a stamp collection video. Hope you've enjoyed my bringing you a bunch of stamps and everything, all from different countries all over the place. It's quite a collection I have. I just love seeing them. And when I show them to people, then they give me a little bit of story or history behind it. I mean, it swirls right up when it snows, when the wind comes and everything. Kind of puts it all right up. Swirls it right up like a hurricane would do. All right. Well, stay tuned for some more stamps, and we'll bring you some more videos. Be sure to sub me as a friend now, okay? Bye-bye now. Okay, here we are this morning with some more German stamps. Some interesting ones. Some that you get to see that are just different colors because they're different numbers on them, prices on them, and stuff. So let's take you all through it. Now, if you notice, one of the good things that you look for in a stamp is like, look at this one. Perfectly centered. So if you're starting a stamp collection, those are the kind of things you look for. One that's perfectly centered. Okay, you also want to see if you can find some that are not used, because that increases the value. Also, you want to check the gluing on the back of the stamps and stuff, because that helps to give you a time frame of when the stamp was made. So there's a lot of interesting things to look for if you're starting a stamp collection. And with technology and everything, a stamp collection is definitely a good way to go. A lot of people are starting this and they're using it as an investment. Look at this one, perfectly centered and good condition. You know, they're starting the stamp collection as an investment into their future. Okay, if you notice, these guys here, they're just different numbers on them. Different colors, different numbers. Some are just the black and white. They're all different, all in their own ways. But it is very nice to go through all the old stamps and stuff. Look at this one, nicely centered. Very good. Ernst Talman. And then some are just numbers. Looks like they put numbers on a beautiful doily. Doesn't it? Reminds you of Grandma's old doilies. Some are just numbers and everything, as we see quite a few of them. Look at that, that's beautiful. Oh, that one got stuck somewheres. Look at this one, it's a 1RM. And this guy, I just find this guy amazing. Look at the hairdo on that. Must be some real interesting stories on him. He looks like a very interesting person to get to know. Now we have this one here, the church. If you notice, this one comes in many colors. Here we have the blue background for the church, which is of course a 5. A purple kind of background, which is 40. Down here we have a brown background, which is 60. Then a green background, which is 10. Then the black and white, which is 2. So I'm thinking this might be from the very beginning. And it's not really a church like the other ones either. This one's a little bit different. This is more like buildings. Fancy buildings. So this one's completely different, and it's a black and white. Then back to the 90 pinkish purple. Okay, and then we get back into some men that were interesting. Some more numbers on doilies. There's a 20 right there. Right here we have a 5. Now this 10. This one's a little bit different. More or less like a grayish green in color. This one's different than, most of them that I've come across. So if you know anything about this one, if there's something different about it, unique, or you know some of the history behind this one being so different, go ahead and leave a comment. There's 40. This one's pretty. And this one here. So a lot of people are starting this collection. Here's a 50, and this is a farmhouse. Well, it looks like a farmhouse because it looks like it has 2 silos, fancy silos next to the barn or whatever. But I may be wrong. So if you know what this building really is, I mean, that's what I see when I see it. An old farmhouse with a couple of silos in there. Comes in turquoise kind of looking, 50. A brown, 4. This one is, what is it, a 6, orange. An 8. Kind of like a deep blue. Deep blue or pale black, one or the other. Okay, this guy here. $25, that looks like it's on a doily. $8.30. And a 20. All right. So if you know stories about some of these, find them rather interesting, go ahead and leave a comment. You can find all these pictures individually up on my Pinterest, which is Doris View With Me, Bowyer. I have plenty of boards there, and I've placed all my stamps individually. So if you know a stamp collector, just send them that way. All right. So happy hunting for all those of you who are starting a stamp collection. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now. Okay, today we have Germany stamps that all have like numbers on them. This one right here is the only one that has a picture with numbers on it. Right there, kind of like work in the fields. So let me take you through them all. Start with this one here. It's kind of like it has a 5. And then 2 million. Then we have 30. Look at all the design in that. It's like a bunch of doilies with a number in the middle. And this one here with the eagle with the 10 on it. 10M. There's 40, different design here. 30 with the bugle. And then 100 mark. Then right here, if you notice there's like another number underneath, it's like 500 and then 250 on top. For different. Just like this one, it has 15 underneath with 400 on top. And look at these. These both say 1 million. Aren't they different, aren't they? Okay, then the one I showed you at the very beginning with a 15. Then we have 10 with the bugle. Then a 50. this one here, it's like a 400 with a 75 on it. Then we have a 30, mint condition. Those are something you look for. You look for the condition of the stamp. Now this one here is completely a mint condition. If you see that the stamp is centered, those are some of the things you look for. Some that are very valuable are stamps that have defects in them, you know, like they'll have the picture straight and the wording is upside down, or, you know, stuff like that. You know, like that upside down Jenny plane. I mean, it's worth millions of dollars. So you got to check on your stamps. Some are very valuable because of the misprint and everything, and others are valuable if they're all in mint condition and perfectly centered like this. So that's how you check out some of your stamps. There's a 400. Now see, there's no writing or postmark on it, so that'd be considered in good condition because it's a little bit crinkled. So you have to look at all the details. And we have 20 with a bugle. Now see, that one's nicely centered stamp, but it's been used. Unused stamps are worth a lot more. There's one in a good condition. 30 with a 400 on it. Okay. Then this one here, 40 with a 5 on it. See, these are in good condition. They haven't been used. There's a 200 with a 2 on it. Funny how this one has the lines, those little black lines underneath. So I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't know if that's the way it was printed up, or if that means something else. So if you know anything about that, be sure to leave it in the comment. But these are very interesting stamps to look at. Look at this one. It's got a 484 on it. This one's got a 10. You can kind of see a million written not in black like the other ones are. Kind of still written in the same color ink as the stamp. You see this one's not perfectly centered. That's how you look at stamps. Two different ways of looking at them. Perfectly centered and unused, or one with a defect in it. Those are the ones that are more valuable. Okay, and there's a 200. And there's a 10. Alright. So, if you know anything about these stamps, as far as the value and stuff like that, please leave a comment. It's always good to hear from people about the stamps. Stamp collecting is starting to become quite an investment in the future. Because now with internet and computers and all that stuff, not so much is going through the U.S. mail. So some of these old vintage post stamps are going to be valuable and more each year. So a lot of the young people, or the grandparents who are starting it for the young ones, as a hobby in their retirement age, know that they're going to be valuable and worth a lot in their grandkids' lifetime. So think about that for investment, especially if you're, you know, in your 30s, you know, 20s and 30s. Know that these stamps here will be valuable later when you get in your golden years, retirement years. All right, bye-bye now.